state and non-state actors.
There is a serious threat to democracy.
And our governments seem to be incapable of protecting.
The scheming.
This is not a period we should say bow and go.
Every part of this country is equal.
The intrigues.
There can be no one person that is bigger than the party.
Deft moves and the momentous declaration.
We didn't get any protection.
I'm not particularly against anybody.
We track and capture them all.
I don't believe in godfatherism in politics.
Follow in-depth analysis and no-holds-barred interviews.
Armed forces of the country is well capable. They need the political will.
Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency?
Feel the pulse of happenings in the political arena on AIT Democracy Today. Widely acclaimed authority on politics. Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.
I beg your pardon?
I am not in the mood to cook this morning. As a matter of fact, I might not be in the mood to cook until further notice.
But you got home from work early enough to have rested now.
I'm not in the mood for conjugal duties tonight, Stephanie.
What the heck does that even mean?
I think I look great, Mom. Look at me. You don't look great. You actually look like a top wine tapper. If you're a man.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Repa FM and Africa Independent Television, AIT. My name is Amechi Anapwe. As political activities ahead of the 2027 general election gather momentum, efforts by opposition parties to present a single presidential candidate are taking center stage. Proponents say united opposition would avoid the vote split seen in previous election and provide a stronger challenge to ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The idea, however, is not new. It's been tried in the past and it fell flat on its face. Similar efforts struggled in the past with disagreements over zoning, party supremacy, and most especially personal ambition, truncating the process. Well, recall that an Ibadan convention took place on April 5, where opposition members and leaders met and agreed that they will present a united opposition, especially a single presidential candidate for the next election. But no sooner had they left that place than that resolution came crashing like a pack of cards. The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, on its part insists that elections are not won through coalition alone, but through performance in government, strong grassroots structures, and the confidence of the electorate. But recently, a coalition of 100 Nigerians have called on leaders of the opposition to unite behind a single presidential candidate ahead of the next election. How feasible is that? Those are the issues I'll be discussing on our program today and more. We'll be joined by a political scientist and a member of the coalition calling for a single opposition presidential candidate, Dr. Ibrahim Modibo. But before we meet with him, we'll provide a basis for the discussion as I welcome my colleagues, Uju Ejeye and Adebayo Bodure. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Welcome our viewers and listeners. You're welcome to the program.
I will take you back to what happened in April 5 when opposition leaders met in Ibadan, and agreed to present a common presidential candidate. That fell flat. Let's refresh your memory with that resolution.
That we shall work towards building one presidential candidate for the 2027 election, which shall be agreed and supported by all participating opposition parties to rescue our nation and our long-suffering masses. So, that INEC chairman, Professor John Shojo Amopitan, having shown bias and open partisanship in favor of the ruling APC, should not conduct the 2027 general election as Nigerians across board have lost confidence in him and his capacity to guarantee the required neutrality to deliver a free, fair, transparent and credible election. His continued stay in office is vexatious and capable of triggering widespread crisis in our nation.
Okay, a resolution that fell flat on its face and just didn't get anywhere. Some would say, did they even leave the Ibadan Convention?
Even leave. Oh, well, Amechi, that would have been a brilliant thing to do, particularly that when you look at the overall votes in any presidential election, if you merge the votes of the opposition, put together, you see that they could have made it so easily. I mean, but then I think that one big problem that we have with our politicians is that spirit of sacrifice, that spirit of putting Nigeria first. It's always been a problem of self-interest, ego tripping. How can I step down for who is he? And because of that, we are where we are. Everybody wants to put his own interest first. Every leader wants to put his ego first, and nobody wants to say, look, let me step down for this man. You see, every competent person in this country cannot rule Nigeria at the same time. It has to be one at a time. The fact that you're competent does not mean that you must be the one. You can concede to the other person. I think that spirit of sacrifice is what our leaders lack, and it's affecting us terribly.
Well, let's go back into history. From the First Republic to Second Republic, the Third Republic, and this Fourth Republic. In the First Republic, what we had then was a sort of support at the level of the formation of a government in the First Republic. The then NCNC worked with MPC, which had majority in the parliament. But it collapsed. Second Republic, the first attempt was after the election in 1979. The then MPP, well, which paraded Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Adesanya and co. Enter into an agreement with MPN. They call it Accord Concordia. But shortly after the formation of government, it collapsed. And then towards the end of as they were preparing for election in 1983, there was moved to form a new political party, which they called PPP, People's Progressive Party, which was then supposed to embrace PRP, UPN, GMPP of Waziri Ibrahim. But it didn't work because nobody was ready to step down for one another. And then the only time which I think is an alliance worked after the first election in 1979, it done on what I would call the opposition parties then, because NPN was dominant, came together and started asking where they have strength that is used. If MPP which was stronger than in the southeast, UPN was stronger in the southwest, and then PRP was strong in the northwest, and GMPP was strong in the northeast. So they asked other candidates to step down. The only place where it worked was Kaduna, even though PRP did not have a legislator, so many legislators in the then old Kaduna State House of Assembly. But in favor of Balarabe Musa, he eventually emerged, and when he formed his government, those parties whose candidates stepped down for him, he incorporated them into his government.
And fast forward to 2013, when the APC, that wasn't an alliance.
No, it was a fusion.
Has been some form of alliance. That of APC in 2013 was a merger. And
complete fusion.
We saw ambitions being stepped down for overall party interests.
So if you look at what, after the Ibadan conference, one was expecting that by now, at least they will probably they will be running around one single candidate for now. The idea being mooted now is belated. It's belated because who will step down for one another?
When candidates have been picked.
They have been, if before the primaries, if this idea was canvassed and embraced, perhaps one will be thinking that it will work wonders. But now it's too late. The critical question now is, just as it happened in the past, when there are people who are willing to subsume their ambition under an arrangement. This situation, I doubt very much if anybody will be prepared to step down. Will Atiku step down for Obi, or will Obi step down for Atiku, and will Bakinde withdraw from the race? So
that's the APM.
So the whole thing is it's an idea, but idea in politics either materialize or it will fail. But I think they will need to work wonders. They will need to look for miracle like
and that will be the 10th wonder of the world.
I also recall once there was an alliance between the APP and the AD in Lagos State. And of course, the APP backed the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his second term as governor of Lagos State. After the election victory, what happened was that the winner took all. If you remember the song by ABBA, the winner takes it all. The winner took all, and APP saw itself out there without anything. And so what they expected to get from that alliance didn't work out. So you find that there's a history from what Bayo Bodun has said up to even that one and the current one of us not being able to subsume our personal interest and let Nigeria, take preeminence and do things for the sake of moving Nigeria forward.
And the APC will be laughing, smiling, saying it's practically impossible for these opposition parties to come together because perhaps what the opposition failed to do before the Ibadan Convention was to speak individually with the opposition leaders and extract a form of commitment.
Are you sure they were not? Before they could come bring it to the convention?
Even they did, it didn't materialize. They rushed to Ibadan in Funfair and made that declaration in that famous Mapo Hall, and it came to naught. So perhaps if you look at what happened to the APC in 2013, when you had someone who had an ambition, but someone who was ready to step down his ambition, someone who wielded so much influence, someone who had so much resources, so much political experience and sagacity, and was able to reach out. That's the reach out I was talking about. In name of Bola Tinubu, he played a greater role, not single-handedly, in ensuring that perhaps the opposition did not have such a personality this time around.
No, but if people look at the beginning of this Fourth Republic, the Alliance for Democracy, and then APP, who later became ANPP, went into an alliance. But one was expecting that after the AD produced the candidate Olufalaye, and the late Umaru Shinkafi was the running mate, one would have expected that we are forced together. What happened was that ANPP, immediately the election was over, the PDP played a smart game on the two parties, but AD did not sponsor any single appointee into Obasanjo's government. ANPP quickly sponsored candidates,
including their then chairman.
You have Ogulafo, who became Minister of National Planning, who eventually became PDP chairman. You have Waziri, the APP national chairman, who was appointed as an advisor. He became a member of PDP. So at the end of the day, the foundation.
But you remember the foundation chairman of the AD too was a special advisor in the villa. The Abdul Karim Abdullah.
Yes, Abdul Karim. Yes.
Exactly. And then
former chairman of AD.
Baba Adesonya's daughter was also a special advisor in Obasanjo's administration. And they were both from AD.
And so everywhere in any democracy, the surest way, the one magic wand, you may say, that could lead to the defeat of an incumbent government is extremely difficult, especially in Africa, for an incumbent to lose.
Except in Senegal.
Yes, except in Senegal that has a history of sweeping out ruling parties because of the political consciousness of the people. They are ready to sleep for weeks on the street. If you shoot 100, the next day they double the number of people you see on the streets. Many countries don't have that capability and resilience. So across Africa, for you to defeat an incumbent, the opposition must merge and form a form of alliance. Without it, like you mentioned in 2023, it's likely going to be a wild goose chase.
Yeah, it is just an idea, and like I said, it will either be realized or will fizzle out.
Well, they can still give it a try. For me, I'm a diehard optimist. I do not think anything is impossible, but like we said, who will step down for the other? If they are willing to step down one for the other, then maybe there is hope. That's the miracle that Nigerians should really love, At least let there be a level playing field, let there be a strong opposition, and of course, a strong contender,
among the people, at least from those I have interacted with, the fact that the opposition is not united has introduced some form of despondency. They are becoming alienated, detaching themselves from this process. This election to them is as good as won and lost.
Yeah, if you look at the outcome of the 2023 election, you look at what the vote of Kwankwaso, and you look at the vote of Obi, you look at the vote of Atiku, if they have come together, the figures will be higher, far higher than that of the APC. But they didn't come together. So this mooted idea this time around, I was expecting after Ibadan that what would have happened was
build on that resolution.
Yeah, to build on it, but Ibadan turned out to be a sort of ceremony. Ceremonial fanfare, dancing, singing.
From a symbolism.
And then, yes, as the singing and the dancing ended at Mako Hall. Nothing was done after that.
Which means they were not sincere with each other.
They were not. Because at the time they went to
Ibadan. And a prominent national leader presence was also lacking.
No, at the time they went to Ibadan, Kwankwaso, Obi, Atiku, they were in ADC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so ADC was closest to forming an alliance then. So
before you can say 1, 2, 3, Jack Robinson, the two of them moved out of the party.
But of course, we know why the two of them moved out, because they had they probably had the information or whatever that Atiku was going to be the candidate of the ADC, or we look at it from the other angle that they may probably not beat Atiku, who came out openly to say that he has never lost a primary. And maybe it's like, instead of us to stay here and not realize this thing, let's quickly move.
And part of the grounds
that's not the best.
Atiku camp and ADC was that even within ADC, they were already shouting the OK movement.
Exactly.
Obi Kwankwaso movement. They said, we played a prominent role in the formation of this party. You have already decided on the presidential candidate. You didn't stop there. You also first to decide on the vice presidential candidate. So what will happen to the rest of us? Did we come here to escort you to Aso Rock Villa? These are some of the issues. But let's take a break. When we come back, we'll bring in our guest, a member of 100 Nigerians who are hoping to perform miracles to see if they can.
G100, they call themselves.
Yes. What?
G100.
G100. Are they trying to imitate the G34 that gave rise to
G19,
the
G34. To the PDP and APP.
Yes. We'll come back and meet our guest, Dr. Ibrahim Modibo, after this break. Do stay with us.
Online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT. On air, online, on live.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypower Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
People, politics, and power brings context and clarity to issues and events in governance, democracy, and development. On People, Politics, and...
Thank you so much for staying with us. We are taking a look at another attempt to achieve a single presidential candidate within the opposition ranks in the upcoming 2027 presidential election. And one of the people that call themselves the G100 hoping to achieve perhaps a miracle is Dr. Ibrahim Modibo. He joins us now for his perspective. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amechi.
So, Dr. Modibo, that Ibadan Convention presented what you could call a near-perfect opportunity for the opposition to get its acts right. But it crashed like a pack of cats. How do you intend to achieve that now, considering that a whole lot of activities have gone, candidates have been picked, and so much has happened?
People are already scrambling for position. SGF, this, that, within all these different parties.
Thank you very much, Uju. Thank you, my brother Bodurin, my compatriot. Let me seek refuge from the philosophical thinking of Napoleon the Great, who stated that the world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of bad people, but because of the silence of good people. Now, as Nigerians, the G100 presupposes a kind of interaction within which we'll try to find a common ground for us to have a single candidate to face the government in the current government in the current government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the G100 is an opposition coalition that intends to come out and seek the possibilities of bringing in all the opposition parties together. Because we know, as it is today, we are in a country that is under dire strait of inefficiency in terms of economic management, dire strait in security mismanagement, which has eaten deep into the roots and fibers of this country, dire strait in social infrastructure, dire strait in economy where we only have newspaper tigers as economists who operate, bringing up some dubious rhetorical sledgehammers that are based on dubious decision in terms of articulation of figures that cannot rhyme with the realities of time. They only give you figures that, look, our economy is improving. We are reaching 2 or 3 digits in terms of economic indices. People have heard. And look, recently the Mr. President was saying that, look, since he was not born, unfortunately, for a leader to say that hunger has been in Nigeria. He was born before me. I knew when I was a young man and what have you, believe me, there was no hunger in Nigeria. We were well fed. In fact, almost everything was there for us on a platter of gold.
Yes.
But sadly today, people are hungry and people are angry. And we strongly believe that the way and manner the opposition is going, we do not see, most of the philosophical thinking and policies of these opposition parties moving to the El Dorado if they are going on their separate ways. Unfortunately, we are putting the nation at first before self-centeredness. That is why 100 Nigerians, out of nationalistic and patriotic intervention in the process of good governance, have decided to come up.
What Ju is asking is whether it's too little, too late.
No. In politics, 24 hours is not too much. 24 hours, anything can change. And therefore, having a tip from the Ibadan Convention, we strongly believe that we can build on it, because the convergence of us as individuals with this feeling of nationalism and feeling of patriotism, so as to save Nigeria from the current political doldrum, from the current bureaucratic and economic inertia, there's a need for us to make sure that we bring opposition together. It's not too late. Let me tell you, if we don't do that, the way this government is going, the way Nigerians are facing economic hardship, political hardship, insecurity, almost deprivation, every aspect of social life, if this government continues beyond 2027, I can tell you that we better pack our things and go back to Somalia.
So,
because
Dr. Modibo,
yes,
but you're not originally from Somalia.
No, we are not. We can go there as refugees.
I did a study. I look at the background of all the members of the G100. They were scholars as politicians. They were scholars in the academic world. They were scholars in the civil society arena. And I look at it, I said, is this not just an academic exercise? Because at the end of the day, who steps down for one another in this game? Is it Makinde? Is it Atiku that will withdraw from the race? Is it Obi that will withdraw from the race? I look at it along that line, and that is the critical question. Who steps down for one another?
And is it Amechi who even refused to step down, the presidential ticket and queried why he should be a vice president instead of a president?
Adiba Bodori said, many of you are academics. You're one of them. Is this suggesting that you're reading too much of textbooks than looking at the realities on the field?
Fortunately, almost all of us have been in politics, have been in administration, bureaucracy, and technocrats that assembled the 100 that have been cut across geopolitical zones, and also different spectrum, of Nigerian society. Now, we've decided to come up with this project. Let me tell you, I said in 24 hours in politics is something that is great and is workable. We strongly believe that, look, going as individuals, we are not going to make the El Dorado. That's why this is just an offshoot. We started talking. We've met Sirake Dixon, we've met Amechi, we've met Atiku. We are meeting in these few days that this group has been formed, so as to sensitize and talk to them on the virtues of coming together, to bury their different interests and primordial sentiments, so as to have a national outlook based on patriotism. And we are planning, in the next 2-3 weeks, we are going to form a national council of democratic opposition. Now, this council is going to draw a lot of participants from diverse sections, maybe traditional institutions, academics, politicians, labor, and everything. So this one is just a starting point. And I can tell you, we have good intentions for this country. We believe that Nigeria needs to be saved from itself. We must save this country because Nigeria is drifting. In every sphere of life, we've seen that this country is seriously drifting.
You're talking to the opposition leaders. Some will say, talk is cheap. What responses are they giving you?
No, the responses so far given, I've always been in the part of the delegation that have started meeting these people, out of the 100 patriotic Nigerians. And the response has been very encouraging. If not, I wouldn't have come here to start talking to you based on enthusiasm and this, perspective of meeting our yearning aspirations. We are not opinion or we are not fortune seekers. We are opinion molders. We are not looking for any patronage from anybody. But you can see there are professors, there are doctors, there are labor people, there are people that matter from the grassroots, people that form the fulcrum of Nigerian society that have been tested and trusted. So we strongly believe that we need to sit together to form opinions and make sure that all of these political, for now, I can tell you, for now, we don't have one single presidential candidate. We're trying to galvanize support, mobilize the presidential aspirants with a view to sitting down together to make sure that we find a common ground.
Using what criteria?
Look, there are a lot of indices. There are a lot of indices to look at. For now, we're building, bridges. We have to build bridges across seas and rivers and also across streams. So we are trying to put up a perfect document that could be able to put a lot of things within Nigerian polity based on the different feelings and perspective of almost all the geopolitical zones.
The first bridge that led to Mapoho, that ended up in Mapoho, didn't stand. Perhaps if the late Sheikh Musa Yar'Adua, popularly known as the bridge builder, is around, perhaps he could help you to put the major pillars of this new bridge. Where will this new bridge lead? I asked, what criteria will you use to, how will you decide on, or even if it's going to be a consensus, on who the mantle will fall on?
That's what I'm telling you. Dr. Amechi, let me reiterate for the nth time that we are putting up a document. And this document is based on sound research, sound intellectual capacity, and sound political sagacity, where we map our strategies, of which it will be too early to start unfolding the strategies for now. But we're going to meet. If we meet, I can assure you, the Ibadan Convention has not been able to be progressive because it has not been, there was no follow-up. After that meeting, everybody went away. But I can assure you, with the zeal and determination of this group of people that I've seen, we are conscious of the body of history, that Nigeria will not forgive us if we stand aloof and watch the destruction of this democracy. God forbid. We are Democrats of conscience. We believe that as Democrats, we should form a very strong opposition. A strong opposition that will give the current government penny for penny in terms of ideas, in terms of philosophies, in terms of administrative acumen and what have you. Because as it is today, the current government has been able to form a government of which I was part and parcel of it, and I think I have to say I'm sorry to Nigerians for being able to bring up this particular government, because I was part and parcel of the I was in the media team under Festus Kiyamo that went to media houses to convince Nigerians to vote for this thing. But unfortunately, we never knew that this is, we thought when Lagos was Lagos under the president, it could continue. But we didn't know that things have changed and time has changed. And therefore, for now, we're trying to see how we can save this country. We need a country that could be governed by reason. The issue of corruption is at its highest peak. Since the time of colonial period up to the present, I've never seen any government in history that has been able to be so corrupt, so inept, so focusless and clueless like the present administration. Because to me,
even
under
Buhari's
normal circumstances,
administration,
Pardon?
As even Buhari's administration.
Even Buhari's administration, if you put it side by side in terms of capacity, corruption, index and what have you, you can never compare it to this government.
I wonder what criteria you're using.
To do what?
Is it
to measure performance?
Personal opinion about corruption, governance ratings and all that?
Have you ever seen during Buhari's time somebody, an individual, remote controlling the government, giving somebody office space, going into all these departments, securing presidential fiat to operate on an office under a fake, this so-called quote-unquote fake? Have you ever seen where we are always, the guiding principle of this government is always to death? We carry IMF, we carry India, we go to China, we go to everywhere now we are debtors. By the time we finish, if this government continues in 2027, I can tell you that by the time you go to London or you go to Paris, they will catch you. They will say, look, you are a debtor, you can't go back to your country.
Many Nigerians will be willing to stay back.
Well, if they are willing to stay back, it's okay. But for us here in this country, we are not going nowhere.
Dr. Modibo,
yes, sir.
Look at the dominance of APC in all the states of the Federation.
Yes.
The governors have defected. They are in APC today. So, which means they have dominant presence across the country. Whichever candidate we are going to rally around, do you think it will have structure like Tinubu?
The preponderance of this, your political analysis, Mr. Bozo, whom I respect so much, having been together for over 30 or 40 years in this profession, is not based on sound scientific knowledge or administrative or political, quote unquote, or political permutations. As Nigerians, let me tell you, some of these governors, as far as I'm concerned, I'm sorry, but they are just newspaper tigers. Believe me, they cannot influence anything. The people matter. If the Nigerian people can carry their votes, let them go to some of these states and start campaigning and say that, look, what has the president done? Most of this, even some of these projects that you see, is the legacy of Buhari. Even this weekend that is always shouting, with these loquacious and boisterous impunity, he tries to say that, look, that this is what he has done, but it's all under, it's Buhari that started most of these projects. He's only completed
Buhari or Goodluck Jonathan?
From Goodluck to Buhari now, and just because he's painting the road.
Doesn't he deserve flowers for completing them? There are abandoned projects across the length and breadth of the country. Well, and is government not a continuum?
At what cost?
That's another issue. Now, the APC will not be wishing you well in this your endeavor.
I don't wish APC should wish me well or should wish us well, because we're trying to form a government that will collect government from there. We want a government that could respond positively to the yearning aspiration of Nigerians, to make sure that food is on the table, to make sure that we sleep with two eyes. But now, anytime we are sleeping, we close one eye and open one eye. Blood projects everywhere. Sugar level, if you go to hospital, you see people lining up about their, the whole, almost all of this country seems to be on, the country is being on operator autopilot, and that you see that if you go to the hospital and what have you, a lot of people are under intensive care.
All right,
because there's no food. First and foremost, the economy is bad in comatose, and also the social infrastructure is collapsing.
There are 100 of you in this venture. The people you are trying to reach, what kind of buy-in do you have that will enable you to penetrate enough to achieve what you are aiming at? Do you have any buy-in at all from the persons involved?
You see, Nigeria as it is today, the young people are restless. The old are weary. And the political class seems to be in despair and despondency. And therefore, there's the need for us to pick up the gauntlet and assemble Nigerians or bring awareness to Nigerians with a view to raising consciousness, awareness on the need for us to have a strong opposition. And that is the focus. Therefore, this strong opposition we are going to build. By the grace of God, we are having people that have been listening to us. Whatever it is, whether we will succeed or not, but I am assuring you that by the grace of God, with all the, feelers that we've had, we are going to succeed. We want to leave history We want to be part of history, epoch-making.
Let's look at the capacity of this G100. Do they have the capacity? Do they have the will? Are they people that were frustrated out from existing parties? Who's the leader of this group? Is it Salihu Lukman?
Yes.
He resigned from ADC, citing frustration. Is it the same with the rest of you, that you couldn't get a foothold in the existing parties and you went to sleep and this idea came up, oh, let's prove our relevance? Is that what is happening?
No, Dr. Amechi, that is not. You see, Salihu is an opinionated person. He has his own opinions. Some of us are from different political parties. Not only one party, but we are aggregating ourselves together, convergence, so as to have an institutional opposition. And I can tell you, we are not frustrated. Because to us, you see, some of us, we've done a lot of things for this government, but this government rewards patronage. It rewards, know me, I know you. If you don't belong to a particular group, or if somebody doesn't know your grandfather, because most like it's more.
So is that why you people left APC? You believe you were not well remunerated or patronized?
Or compensated.
Compensated, right?
Dr. Amechi.
Is that the reason?
Dr. Amechi, politics is all about this on earth. You can't go to heaven and get a reward. So all the reward you need is here. So if you don't get it.
So where is the spirit of patriotism you claim is behind your move?
The patriotism presupposes that if you are in politics, it's just like in my own religion, Islam. They say, those that go to holy war, when there's booty, they share with them. Not others that have not even participated. In politics, it's the same thing. If you have gone to politics, you are not going to politics. Some people will go and lose their limbs, their eyes, and what have you. So the patronage, you wait till you go to heaven. So that is why we're saying, in terms of capacity, we've been tested and trusted. Intellectually, for somebody like me that have been the National Director of Publicity for almost 10 years of APP and NPP, having been spokespersons of presidential candidates like the National Security Advisor, Malanu Ribado, and others, I have been in this in art of governance. But unfortunately, you see, we are in a system where nobody rewards hardship. I mean, nobody rewards competence. Nobody looks at you from the viewpoint of your intellectual capacity. Nobody looks at you from what you can perform, but based on patronage, based on who you know, based on loyalty, and based on maybe your geographical location. So, under the present purview, we believe that we need a government that could be formed under a purposeful and united front, so that we'll be able to confront this monster that is coming.
So I think the American saying by a former U.S. president, ask not of what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Is that not the measure for patriotism?
Dr. Amechi, who said?
Because if you want to go into politics,
yes,
the ideal is that you have achieved in your various fields of endeavor, yes, and it's time to give back,
yes,
to society.
Good.
Without expectations of any return.
No. Dr. Amechi, as I've told you, politics is all about reward on earth. If you are competent, if you know that, look, you have the academic, political, and social competence, why should you be denied? Why should you be the opportunities to contribute to national development? We're into politics from our academic backgrounds, some of us doctors, some of us professors in that arena, but have the government used us? Because of this issue of loyalty and issue of patronage, today the government is collapsing like a pack of cards. There is no rhythm, there's no rhyme, and you cannot look at the government from the viewpoint of progressiveness. It's all about bringing people that I know and you know, who are not competent, who are clueless, and people that cannot perform. To me, the security situation that we're having, if we have been sacking, even if the national security advisor, we sack him, sack this one. Let us bring competent people that will be able to perform. But when you focus your government on who I know, loyalty, and without...
That's what Buhari told us, that he appoints only those he knows. He set the template.
No, but those that he knows, have they cut across the nation? Every segment of this country was represented by Buhari's government, every segment. And nobody is complaining.
Even in the security sector that was monopolized by the North.
Look, agree, as at that point in time, the issue of this Boko Haram and what have you was an institutional issue that could be tackled from the viewpoint of having some of these people operate within the confines of the Nigerian system. It was a major issue. And I'm sure that Buhari did that so as to safeguard, the country from being attacked.
But he failed in that.
Look, if I agree, he failed. But has Tinubu that has brought in people from the geographical area, has he succeeded now?
No, but Buhari was highly accused of nepotism because if you look at all the sensitive areas, it wasn't really much of somebody who was, people who were the most knowledgeable. But basically those he knew, whether they were exceptional or not.
Would you, my sister, you are a journalist of repute, and I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, that if you compare Buhari with the current administration, it's not like comparing saint and Satan. Because as far as I'm concerned, what Buhari did, there was inclusivity. There were people from the East, of which today there were. So many people from the East were in the government. So many. And look, the East is, to me, it is the most marginalized, especially under this present government. The North has been crying marginalization because of the votes it has given. And these votes were because of Buhari. I can tell you, let us go to 2027. Some of these governors that my brother Bodun is talking about, believe me, they cannot deliver. The masses are angry. The masses are hungry. And the masses will come out en masse to vote and defend their votes. Just let's wait. Let's go to the field. Let's go to the field.
Okay. Yes. One last question from me. You are from the North.
Yes.
You are talking of a purposeful government.
Yes.
In the present day Nigeria, can we have an Aminu Kanu whose only house in the world was a donation from Aminu Datata? When he died, he had only 25 naira in his bank account. Can we have such a leader in Nigeria?
Boduri, my brother, I'm happy that you were born or you grew up, you did your journalistic practice in Kano. You have a lot of experience in Kano. Let me tell you, you can never find those politicians of the past. Samadou Bello, Tafawa Balewa, all these, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the
Okpara,
and Aminu Kano. You can't find them now. These were people that were practicing politics based on ideology, based on service to the nation. They were making a lot of sacrifices towards institutional, reformation of the country. They were not bothered about anything of life because they believed in both the books, the Quran and the Bible. It presupposes that, look, as a human being, you should contribute to your national development. Do not be selfish, so gluttonous, so corrupt, and thievery in terms of modus operandi of the governance. What we have today is just like a calf looking at the mother cow. What the mother cow is eating is the same thing that the calf is eating. What we have are a group of political bandits that have been able to look at the country from a perspective of what I can chop and what I can get. They steal money they don't even
You are
use.
using very strong words that may not be, we are not comfortable with.
Let me
withdraw
it. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Let me withdraw
good.
that.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about, as we end now, and I'm raising it up because in our YouTube channel at Repa Abuja, one comment is joining issues with you. You said you grew up not seeing hunger in the country, but Bello Kenneth, 902, says Dr. Modibo got it wrong. Austerity measure in 1983 and 1987, in which we only ate rice once in a year. Hunger is as old as ages. For my generation, this period, when SAP came, was when I was becoming conscious as a young person from toddler to teenage. And I saw hunger. I saw my parents and I joined them queue to buy milk, essentials. Queue during the military regime, we were queuing to buy milk, sugar. Sometimes you only queue once in 3 weeks. No, so I grew up in Nigeria seeing hunger. being punished. Perhaps this country has not been very kind to those of my generation. Perhaps you were the people that ate chicken in schools and all that, who were driven out from school because if you're late in paying school fees and all that. So we saw hunger growing up, and that hunger is still here with us. And may we not see hunger when we are leaving this world.
Amen. I think that, Dr. Modibo, I don't know, maybe Amechi was selective in his feeding because he was talking about milk and
yes.
There were other foods, stuff that
they're essential commodity.
You think milk is essential? In the north, there are several other foods that perform the same function as milk.
Not balanced.
Protein.
As a young man, I needed
I grew up in Lagos. We had several other foods from the north, from the south, southwest, southeast, south.
Was there not a time we were queuing to buy milk in this country?
Dr. Amechi,
am I lying?
Dr. Amechi, I grew up in early 60s. And believe me, I grew up from one of the remotest parts of Nigeria in Adamawa State.
Oh, so Amechi was not there in the early 60s.
No,
I was not there also.
You see, so in those days, believe me, we eat 3 square meals. No, almost every family, they grew up in those days. We eat, but we don't think of milk. Milk is an
It's basic.
No, it's an elitist product.
It's not.
Let me tell you.
For a growing up child.
Dr. Amechi, I can tell you. Dr. Amechi, I did not take milk until when I was even in finishing my primary to secondary school. I never saw pig milk.
There was
fresh milk from the farm.
Of course, but the cows are there. They are fresh milk.
But we didn't have the cow. We didn't have
we
skim milk.
We had, and let me tell you, today, as I am, as you know, somebody that has read, but is jobless.
And while we were in school, we were doing 001, 101.
No, as it is today, even
people have not been fed to our generation.
Even me now, to eat once in a day now. All you need is just to get toothpick.
Yes.
And be choking your teeth to pretend that you are
Modibo for giving us your time. We need to hear from our listeners and viewers as we share some of the messages.
Our first mail is from Anuncio Mugochukwu, who sent it in from Lagos, and it says, the 5 pillars of the church are worship, spiritual growth, fellowship, discipleship, and evangelism. The media war between the Catholic priests and the president's team is a distraction. It's more of a political strategy so that people will overlook the real issues. Just like in 2023, when all you see in the media space was hand they shake, bula blue, politicians see beyond the headlines. Nigeria is a secular state. We have thousands of churches and mosques representing different faiths. If all of them keep going to see the president, what about the traditionalists recognized by the Constitution? All the presidents we have had since 1999 say they listen to news and read newspapers. What other truth do you want to speak to power? How many churches have visited Trump with the gun violence in the USA and killings in Iran? Churches should stay clear of politics. Emmanuel Nkama from Gowon Estate, Alimosho says, please, I crave your indulgence to observe that fresh debate over the academic qualification of President Tinubu has begun again, and it's unfortunate and like a distraction. This is because if the Tinubu administration is giving the citizens the expected dividend of democracy occasioned by good governance, Nigerians would not have bothered. Here is calling on Nigerians to demand from the president the renewed hope agenda he promised them before he was elected, rather than dissipating energy on certificate, provided he has submitted what the Constitution requires. Nigerians demand good governance and dividends of democracy. And the next one is from Comrade Monday Ame from Abuja. And he says, I wish to use this medium to commend Mr. President for approving salary increase for armed forces personnel. This development coming just 3 weeks after he approved the expansion of the Nigerian Army structure from 8 to 12 divisions and the recruitment of 28,000 additional personnel is indeed unprecedented. This salary increase, which ranges between 30 and 80% for the about 250,000 armed forces personnel, is a right step in the right direction, as it will act as a morale boost to them. In addition to this salary increment, I urge the federal government to ensure the Nigerian Armed Forces is provided with modern and sophisticated weapons, as well as training and retraining in order to nip in the bud the current state of insecurity.
Thank you so much for the mails, and thank you for being part of the program today. On behalf of my colleagues, my name is Amechi Anapwe. Have a good time.